After leaving the town proper behind, we spend several hours searching for the right mine, which we eventually locate tucked away in a valley north of the settlement. According to Harvek, this area had long been depleted of ore, but apparently surveyors recently discovered new veins, and the Loaders Guild quietly bought up the rights. Once we make it to the mine, we spend some time staking it out. There are only a handful of guards outside. Harvek suggests making the hit look like an accident by collapsing a tunnel on the foreman, and wonders how best to go about it. I bribe the guards and we sneak in to sabotage the tunnels. Our plan works splendidly, and we infiltrate the tunnels with Harvek once the guards are out of the picture. Once we locate the foreman, a huge bearded orc, in one of the tunnels, it is only a question of figuring out how to collapse it on him to bury the man. We find the right post to break, and before anyone can react, the tunnel collapses on the foreman, sparing the miners. As they busy themselves clearing out the debris, we slip away unnoticed. Once we're far from the mine, Harvek and I sit down for a brief rest, and he offers me a swig of booze from his canteen.
Thanks for doing this with me, boss. Few people comprehend how important it is for me to get back at him. Much appreciated.
As I return, I notice that Garrik has installed the new equipment. This will save us a lot of time. I stock up on food, as I don't know how many days we'll be spending in the swamp south of here. I also take the opportunity to hire some additional men. You never know. Garrik, I'll let you lead the way.
Yes, mate.
He led us south, across several hills that offered an impressive view of a gigantic swamp. It seemed to stretch as far as the eye could see. The heat, the humidity, and those damn mosquitoes. This is definitely the worst place I've had to cross so far. The Comitatus creeps along the border of Hagard Tool and the wetlands. The plains slowly give way to softer ground. Beasts of burden struggle to make their way through the mud. While I ponder how best to traverse these treacherous lands, Garrik approaches. The dwarf clears his throat to speak.
My mate. Made me a promise to retrieve what I hid, didn't ya? 'Tis about me stash. Hid it around here, so it's high time we searched for it. Might take a jolly good while. Damn bog tends to shift around. Still, we're bound to find it sooner or later.
Rain begins pouring as we proceed to search our surroundings while the Comitatus waits our return. Hours pass by, and all the while Garrik keeps promising that his stash is very close. Indeed, friggin' close now. Turns out it is. As I come upon a crooked tree, Garrik suddenly shouts,
Here we are, there right among the roots.
He begins to dig. The swamp's mosquitoes descend upon us like a storm of angry, buzzing, tiny winged demons, intent on feasting on our blood. As I swat at them in vain, I can't help but think about the various diseases they might have inflicted upon me and my cums. After a few minutes, the dwarf uncovers a small iron box from beneath the mud. He then hugs it like it's the most precious thing he's ever seen in his life. He even starts caressing it, until I interrupt him to ask whether some of its contents are my share, as agreed upon.
But of course, a fucking course, this night, mate. All right, mate. Calm your tits. Got your money right here. No need to be mean. What was it in the gun? Yes. There's your fee. The impatience of some people.
He hands me the amount I agreed upon earlier. So, what are your plans now?
No idea, mate. Really no fucking clue at all. This here's fine money, yet still not enough to make up for me losses. Maybe I'll invest it somehow. For the time being, I reckon I'll stick with your sorry arse comitatus.
Before leaving, I place a few coins in front of him, a way to secure his loyalty, especially considering the considerable profit I gained from our joint venture. My men are exhausted, and like me, they have only one desire: to get out of this swamp. Suddenly, a group of crudely armed individuals blocks our path. Counting their numbers, they are not enough to overwhelm us, but I would rather have no losses on my side. So I pay a toll for passage. Today seems kind of odd. The comitatus starts early. The beasts and the crew work hard, and the scouts do not report anything out of the ordinary. It is a good day. It's time to return to Lumen. I sign a few contracts to improve my relations with the dragons. Their lands seem more fertile than ours, and I take the opportunity to empty their stock of grain.
Vagrus, when do you plan to head back toward Torzag?
That is precisely our next destination.
I will need us to make a slight detour in order to accomplish my mission.
As long as it is not too great a detour, considering my cargo. As we were halfway to the crossroads, Renkailon led us off the main road. Renkailon finds me and confides that this is the area where, according to Prince Lakor, the Varukai dug their way up to the surface. I stop the comitatus and ask the Dark Elf what we are supposed to do next. He tells me that he has to scout the gateway into Everdark. A quarter of an hour passes before the scouting party returns. When it does, one of the scouts reports that they have stumbled upon a dark opening hidden by thorny briars, which seems to lead into some sort of underground cavern.
Good. From now on, this is my job. Let me descend there on my own. I'll be back in 2 hours or so.
Knowing that Renkailon is the best among us in terms of stealth, I don't want us to be a burden to him, and I wish him good luck. Renkailon disappears into the hills, silent as a ghost. Having nothing better to do for the time being, I order my crew to set up a provisional camp, ready to be disassembled at a moment's notice. Time crawls slowly. The idleness is monotonous. Eventually, the sun creeps lower on the mist-shrouded horizon, and there is still no sign of Renkailon. 2 hours, the Dark Elf said. As far as I estimate, his return is long overdue. There is something wrong, and that means it is time for me to make a decision. Leave no one behind seems to be a good motto to go by in the unforgiving wastelands, one that is appreciated by my crew. I am greeted by cheers and approving looks as I assemble a team to go looking for the wayward Dark Elf Scout. People, in general, have the tendency to like knowing that their leader cares for their well-being. I take great care not to select too many coms for the mission at hand, like Renkailon said before his departure. This is a task that requires finesse and stealth. The fewer companions, the less noise, and fewer opportunities to be detected. It does not even take too long to find it. After half an hour or so, I come upon a patch of briars between several hills, and just like described by my scouts earlier on, hidden behind some bushes is a tunnel leading deep into the dark soil. Me and my companions hide behind the thorny bushes at a stone's throw from the entrance. Flies buzz at my ears, but apart from that, everything is dead silent for some time. After a while, I begin to hear footsteps approaching from inside the cave. A dark elf emerges from the undergrowth. It is not Renkailon. In fact, it is a woman wearing jet black armor. Before she exits the tunnel, she lifts her arms and recounts a short incantation. As she does, glowing magical glyphs appear around her on the earthen wall of the entrance for a brief moment, and she steps through. I figure that she just deactivated the wards around the cavern while she passed the entrance. The dark elf woman takes a few steps outside, then, not realizing she is being watched, ascends a hill. Me and my coms are upon her in a minute. Because we surprise her, subduing her is laughably easy. And anyway, I do not need her, as I have already heard the enchantment. While my companions tie her up, Findaroth repeats the words, and lo, the glyphs disappear again. It seems that the tunnel to Everdark is now safe to enter. Ever so carefully, we enter the cave and delve deeper into its darkness. Soon, the earthy tunnel gives way to a corridor hewn out of solid rock, with the ceiling being supported by wooden beams. My company turns a corner and almost runs into two dark elves, clad in uniform black armor. These must be sentries of the Varukai. They have not spotted us, so I order my coms to take them down. It happens quickly and without a sound. As soon as the guards are dealt with, I take a look around. It very much appears like this underground site is still under construction. Testament to that are the aforementioned wooden scaffoldings, signs of freshly dug sections, unfinished masonry, and the heaps of dirt lying here and there. In fact, the sheer size of these subterranean chambers suggests that the soil was not dug out and moved by physical labor alone. Sorcery must have been at work here. After creeping through the corridors for a bit longer, wondering how deep these tunnels go, the corridor widens and we come to a wide precipice. The cave underneath is large enough to house a small collection of hastily constructed dwellings, more tents than huts. A dozen or so scrawny surface dwellers toil around them, pushing carts and hacking away at the walls with pickaxes. The chains on their ankles leave no doubt about their status as slaves. A rickety ladder leads down into the grotto. Suddenly, we hear alarmed shouts from all over the surrounding tunnel. Soon, the outpost's garrison will be upon us. For a brief moment, I think about the possibility that Renkailon walked into a trap here and was captured, perhaps even killed, and that I should abandon this mission. But there is no time to dwell on mere possibilities right now. I must act quickly. We descend the ladder leading to the slave pens, grab one of the involuntary laborers by the shoulder, and demand that he tell me what he knows about this site. I ask the dithering wretch whether he or his fellow workers have recently seen a dark elf with a half-concealed face that does not wear the Varukai uniform. It takes a few moments for the slave to gather his wits.
Well, we did, I believe. Not too long ago, one towards where the masters keep the Yerg.
What can you tell me about the Yerg?
I'm sure you know what Yerg are. Big insects, right? The masters keep them as battle pets and for work. In fact, they're more efficient at digging than us. So a lot of us end up as torture dolls for the master's children, or as food for the Yerg. Their pen is right over there, through that tunnel.
The man points at an opening on the cave's other side. So that is where Renkailon supposedly went. As I'm about to proceed, the slave grabs my arm.
Please, this is torture. Can you take us with you, back to the surface?
Several others crowd around us, pleading. All the while, the angry screams of the approaching Varukai can be heard, closing the distance ever so slightly. I order the release of the slaves. Given the situation, the more of us there are, the better our chances of getting out alive. It does not take long for me, and my comes to break the slaves' chains. I can already hear the shouts of the approaching Varukai guards from the surrounding tunnels. The slaves keep thanking me, but I shout at them to be silent. There is no time to waste, and if they really want to break free, they must do as I tell them. They nod and try their best to follow my orders. The corridor we enter is fairly straight. Following it, we soon spot a pale, bluish light that gives me a heading. Disregarding any junctions, I head on to emerge in a spacious chamber, divided into several subspaces by low bone fences. Within those confined nooks, I see numerous Yerg. All of them have crystals embedded between their feelers. That is where the ghostly light was spreading from. But of course, these Yerg have a shepherd too. A Varukai handler is also here, and upon seeing us enter, he immediately turns to attack us, sending some of the tamed creatures forth. Harvek charged without hesitation at the largest of the Yergs, but its chitin remained unscathed. As the elf struck him treacherously, Gorgoro unleashed a sweeping blow, amplified by Findorath's lightning that leapt from creature to creature. The elf was already lying on the ground, and Garrik finished him with a shot to the head, killing him instantly. Leaderless, Vorax tried to draw the largest one's attention with a spray of acid, while Garrik moved to reload his pistol. Harvek hurled his dagger, which clattered harmlessly against the shell of one of the creatures. Gorgoro struck immediately after, his powerful blow hitting both beasts and sending acid splashing in every direction. At the same time, lightning flared, casting harsh light across the cavern walls. Targeted, Vorax gave Harvek the opening to drive his weapon deep. The beast, racked with pain, thrashed violently, causing Garrick's shot to miss. Terribly wounded, Findorath and Gorgoro still managed to strike it once more amid its erratic movements. In a final attack against Vorax, the Yerg fell. Alone and without support, the last monster was immediately overwhelmed by the combined assault of my companions. In a final assault, Gorgoro stepped aside, clearing the way for Harvek, who drove his weapon deep into the creature's arm, pinning it in place. A moment later, its head burst apart under Garrick's precise shot.